Hello, so this is a video about this LG dishwasher and the flickering lights and a solution that I found to fixing that, at least for now. I probably won't buy an LG dishwasher ever again, but essentially my story, I just bought this dishwasher about 8 months in. The lights here midway through a cycle, it would just start flickering and turn off, or even when there was no cycle running, it was off, it just randomly turn on and then back off and flicker and make beeping noises. It got so bad it could never go through a full cycle. So at the time it was under warranty. Contacted LG. They sent somebody out to replace the motherboard for free because it was under warranty. And after they did that, it worked. And then 8 months after that, happened again. It was no longer under warranty. So I was looking at either getting a new dishwasher or trying to fix it myself. And what I found to work for now anyway is to remove the motherboard, let it air dry for about 2 days, and then put it back on. And that's worked ever since. And something that I've been doing since then to keep something like this from happening again is to not let water drip from your countertop onto the top of the door and just pool up right here. Because I think when that happens, what's happening is it gets right in here. It kind of wicks down in, and then this is the motherboard right here. It kind of just gets into all those components and gets between the buttons and I think the motherboard maybe. That's what I think is happening. So I'm always, whenever I wipe the counters down or I have a bunch of water right here, I just make sure that it's not getting on here. I wipe this and keep this drying. It's been 10 months since I did that, and I haven't had any issues yet. So if you want to fix this, first things first is to unplug it or flip a breaker depending on what you have for power source if you don't have it plugged in like mine, and then just make sure it's, hit the buttons, make sure it's actually off because you're dealing with electrical here. And like I said, this is the motherboard right here. It's this chunk. So you got 6 screws, one here, 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 and here. You unscrew that. I'm gonna do that without being on camera because I'm holding my phone. So once you've taken all the screws out here, just kind of make sure you're holding on to this because it will fall right out when you take the screws out. This just kind of falls forward like that. And this is actually the motherboard. So the next thing you want to do is unplug this wire harness. Before you do that, I recommend taping the wire harness to the dishwasher itself, because when I did it, I unplugged it and the wire harness fell inside this cavity here, and I had to fish it out. It took a while, so just save yourself that trouble. Tape that. Take this off, set it flat on a surface like your counter. If you do see moisture or water in here, just use a paper towel or something, dry it off a little bit as best you can. Even if you don't see any moisture in here, just let it air dry because you probably have moisture somewhere in here that needs to dry. I think the first motherboard I got didn't have this almost like this silicone-y resin over the motherboard. You can maybe see it's kind of reflective. I think it was just, that wasn't even there. It wasn't protected at all. And at least that's what the guy said. So this like silicone-y covered motherboard is supposed to hold up, but mine didn't. So if you look in here and you don't see like a rubbery resin on here, you might be out of luck. That might be harder to dry out than this. This, I just let it air dry on the countertop for 2 days. plugged it back in, screwed it back in, and then that seemed to work. If it doesn't work, I hope you find another solution, but that's what worked for me. Thanks for watching.